Greetings everyone, Lumberg here, and yes, yet again, another video about mergers. If you are one of the lucky ones, you will find out if you are getting a merger in the upcoming month. I think it will be April, but it may be as early as late March. What we do know, and what we're going to cover in this video, is a preliminary list that was published by VIPs. We're going to cover the list of expected people that will get a merger. However, this time we do not have potential groupings. So it's only going to be the list of candidates that have been selected for a merger this round. But Camel, according to the VIPs, is still working through a grouping and matching of the different worlds. The ones that are, if you're in world 1 or 2, you are unlucky. You did not get selected. If you are in world 3 and 4, there is nations that did get selected, and we're going to go through that list. For second mergers, these are second mergers. And then for first-time mergers, I think it's worlds 7 and 8 that got selected. So without further ado, let's dive in. This is according to a list that was provided by VIPs, by their VIP reps. And in this list, the ones in bold are the ones that basically got selected. The ones in red are the ones that did not get selected. So this is the worlds in chronological order of who was still waiting for a second merger, meaning 187 got picked, 202 got picked to be in the pool of nations for merger. We do not know how they're going to map or match with each other. What we do know is that most likely 206, 215, 242, 246, and so on, all these ones in red highlight will not get a merger in the upcoming one. So this is the ones for the third and fourth planet. And this is the ones for the first time mergers of the seventh and eighth planet. And you can see pretty much they followed chronological order of worlds that did not get merged so far. For some reason, 604 seems to have gotten picked. Maybe it's oversight. Maybe they'll get picked. But as far as I can see, that 604 did not get selected to get merged this round. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's in chronological order. The rest of this video, we're really going to focus on the groupings of this world, of the second merger worlds. And I have a vested stake in it because I am in 285 and it looks like we will get a merger. So if we go over to the next tab, of course, this is all going to be in the links below. This came from a snippet of a VIP message conversation. You can see the world's listing here. It is a manual list, so maybe 604 did get, inadvertently left off. I don't think so, because if you look at the number of nations, and that there's 24, so that means there's about 8 mergers there. Here there's 12, so that means there's about 4 mergers there. So a total of 16 mergers, and these are only for unlocked nations. There's going to be some locked nation mergers too, but we won't find about that until later. So similar to what we did last month, I use the data thanks to AOZ Wiki. Give him some love in his website. This is his ranking site. He has not gone up beyond, I think, the late 300 worlds. So I don't have data for the 500 worlds, unfortunately. But I was able to put a little bit of some of my own data combined with his data and put together a quick mapping for the ones that are getting a merger. So for the ones that are not getting a merger, you can see here, there's a couple of unlucky worlds. 242, for instance, you can see that they were last merged on November 12th, and they really should have gotten a merger this round, but for some reason they were skipped. Same thing you can see here with 292, September of 2021, right? So if you look at some of these other nations, kind of makes sense that, okay, they last got it in May of last year. 278, 286 got it in May of last year, so maybe they're going to get it in May of this year, about a year later. But there really is no understanding for why 242 would have gotten skipped and all these other worlds did get picked. So some of this logic escapes me with how Camel does this. Similarly here, 269 got skipped, even though they have the same kind of last merger date as some of the other ones that got selected here. You can see like 285 was merged in the same time 269 was. So it's a little bit strange how these mappings work, and some were lucky. But what is clear is most likely these will probably get picked in the next round very soon. So let's take a closer look at the worlds that did get picked. Here you can see 187. In this listing, we have what planet they're in, so the third versus fourth. When was the last merger that they have? And in all of these cases, that would have been the first merger. What was their last GC rank in the preliminaries? Why this is important? It's arguably not that important, but it is helpful to kind of know, because it does show how well the nation works together to at least place, I think anything in the, 1 to 10 range is probably shows some amount of coordination, or, some nations are just lean and don't prioritize it. But usually if you're ranking really low, beyond 16, that's probably a bad sign. So that's kind of just an indicator, not really a B1 stat, or you shouldn't put too much weight on that. Rank, I think this is from AOZ Wiki Site. Alliance power, that's really not alliance, but that's nation top 10 alliance power. Commander power, I think that's probably top 10. Commanders, officer power, top 10 again. And then void rate, important thing to note here, this includes frenzy as well as void. And that would explain why some of the rates are low for some nations, and I'll particularly mention ours. We actually have a, over 95% win rate in void, but our frenzy is absolutely terrible. So that's why the combined is 63 and makes us look worse than we really are. Similarly, some other nations have, mixed bags between frenzy and nation. But you can see there's a good bit of strong nations. Some of the nations do have some civil war and ongoing issues. So it just depends on how these will get mapped. It is safe to say that, VIPs will make requests for certain mappings, but Camel will try to make sure that there isn't, there's some type of balance between these worlds, and that there's not, all the strong ones don't get grouped together. So as much as the VIPs will request it, you still might not get what you want. And I think that is all I wanted to cover. So this list will be available. The last thing that I'll leave you guys with is really some of the steps that you can do to kind of prepare for this is, if you're especially in the 200 worlds, start reaching out to people. Even though we don't know who you're going to pair with, it's not a bad idea to reach out. So I have already started reaching out, and I've been busy, as you can see here. You need to make I've created a farm, or had a farm already. Some of these are higher level, and I'm taking them to level 10 so I can basically communicate with the other people, reach out to the leaders, find a representative, designate a representative from your nation to kind of get into talks already, get organized, and try to see which one's a good fit, how the nation, what does the nation prioritize, start kind of having those conversations already. So here you can see I've been busy. It reminds me of my farming days, where I'm basically trying to build, these to level 10 or 12 pretty quickly, just so that communication is seamless. And then that once you do that, of course, this is in-game messages, better for translation. For people of your same language, it's probably easier to reach out to them, ask them for their line ID or Discord ID, and take it from there. If anyone in these nations would like to reach out to me for 285, feel free to do so. My Discord link is going to be in the channel details, as well as in the bottom of this video. I am always looking forward to hearing from prospective neighbors and potential friends in the future. So super excited that we will be getting merged for a second time. Again, take it with a grain of salt. This is all based on a preliminary list that is subject to change, and it may very well change, so don't celebrate too early.